I tried to kill off disco, but it's reared its ugly head again.
Hey, can you tell by the way I use my walk? The glide and the stride, the dip in the hip. Yeah, I'm a 70s man, and I got a little time to talk, but not much, because we got a lot of music to play tonight. By music, I mean disco, D-I-S-C-O. Oh, don't give me that wide-eyed, innocent look, because I was there, and I remember you and the clothes you were wearing. But in case your recollection is a little, hazy, here's a reminder to tell you what it's all about.
Disco changed the face of club life on this entire planet.
Elvis changed the 50s, the Beatles changed the 60s, and we changed the 70s.
Disco music was the first music to come along that transcended every age group, race, creed, and color.
The disco experience was a hedonistic experience, was a dancing experience, was a drug experience.
If you think you're in for something as ordinary as disco and roller skates, then stay put and wise up. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Tonight we peek through the porthole to a time when disco reigned. A white-suited, boob-tube, back-collared, glitter-balled monster. Ruled by sex, fueled by drugs, it drove a million dance floors wild. And it's as big today as it was 20 years ago, with retro clubs all over Britain going back to their roots. And today's top acts have cashed in as well, finding rich pickings in disco classics. While a recent rash of stage plays and films on the era means disco is still clearly big business. So where the hell did it come from? The answer, 1970s America and its bloody great hangover from the previous decade. They were losing a war, had no petrol, and the president was bent. Disco first emerged on New York's gay scene, and its potent brew of escapist, cocaine-fueled fantasy soon spread, as a very different kind of line dancing took over the clubs, then the radio.
The largest discotheque may hold 2,000, 3,000 people in New York. But when you get a station like me, I would have 500,000 people listening.
Disco smelled great, and it quite literally took over the world. This new sound was the bastard child of 60s soul R&B, combining James Brown's hard-edged funk sound with the lush Philly strings of the Walrus of Love, Barry White, along with New York's pioneering South Soul label and the Latin beats of Florida's TK Records.
Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, don't tip the boat over.
All of which drifted across the pond, where European projects like Silver Convention and their producers dotted disco's umlaut.
If you didn't have me, you wouldn't have had disco. When I came in with Silver Convention and brought the Germans to the party, and they brought their polka beat, you certainly had disco.
Once Pete invented it, the common people loved it, though not all discos loved the common people. Oops. Least of all, New York's flagship Studio 54, which only ever opened its doors to the beautiful people, and where sex, drugs, and excess ruled.
I'm a child of the 60s. I was at Woodstock and at Studio 54. I gotta tell you, Studio 54 was much better, and it was happening every night.
I mean, there was a guy there with a bloody stick of holly up his ass, and that's all he had on. I mean, that was it.
We had our first naked body!
Over here, it was no less sophisticated. In packed clubs like North London's Royalty, DJs like Chris Hill became the new messiahs, feeding an entire generation's hunger for pure black dance sounds.
This was the real cutting-edge music of its day. This was like, this is the coolest kids were listening to this kind of music. The thing that Saturday Night Fever got right is that if you were a working class kid, you lived for Friday night or Saturday night, because that was the time you stopped being a drone, and for 10 minutes you were the governor.
This is disco's holy of holies. It's the 2001 Odyssey Disco in Brooklyn. John Travolta tore the roof off the sucker in Saturday Night Fever long before Quentin Tarantino knew how to spell the word screenplay. So those are the days we're going to relive right now. Mirror balls, spandex, platform shoes, chest hair. Or maybe not too much chest hair. But you get my drift. But how do you make the disco top 10? Simple. Make money. These are the acts that sold the most records in the UK during disco's golden era, 1975 to 1981. Are you ready for this? Okay, here's number 10.
Miami is a very strange place because it's a city of a lot of different cultures. It's always bright and sunny and everything. I think it lent to the high energy of our music and to the brightness of it and to the sunshiny side of it.
This is George McRae. This was Harry Wayne Casey, a white boy in the multiracial house band at Miami's influential TK Records. But Casey became restless seeing his songs giving others like George the limelight.
All my life, I only had one dream, and that was to be an entertainer. I mean, even in grade school, they'd put occupation on the card, and I'd write entertainer, you know. The teachers probably went, what the hell is he talking about, you know? After Rock Your Baby hit the charts, I went to the guys and said, look, something's really happening here. Why don't we just become the group? And I just thought, this is going to be the rage, you know? This is what's going to happen all over the world. I set out to make very simplistic music. The music scene in the early 70s, it was getting very depressing. It seemed like there was just total chaos everywhere. And I started feeling like, well, you know, I need to make these songs that make people feel good, because I just sensed that we all needed, everybody wanted to feel happy. Everybody wanted something that made them feel good. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it.
Casey and the Sunshine Band were the TK label's golden boys, but success almost turned to tragedy for the singer in a horrendous car crash.
Please don't go. Don't go.
Well, the car accident was in January of '82, and I was hit head on, and I suffered like little, you know, temporary paralysis to the right side. It was just really scary, you know, and just had a lot of time to think about life and think about how I should appreciate it a little bit more, and, you know.
He recovered, but the trauma had darker, long-term repercussions.
I was doing a lot of drugs. About a fifth of vodka a day and a half ounce of cocaine and pills to boot. And I just went ballistic. I don't know if it was because I was such goody two-shoes during the whole period, you know, and it was just time to, I don't know, it was stupid.
But Casey eventually saw the light and cleaned up his act, just in time for a revival in his music's popularity.
My friends would come over and they'd say, what are you doing, man? You know, have you listened to the radio lately? I mean, everyone sounds like Casey and the Sunshine Band. You're the man. Get back out there and do it, you know. I'm just happy to be alive. I'm 25 years later. I'm just glad to still be here. And we're just having the time of our lives, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.